Greetings, members one and all of the Salivation Nation. Gold and silver are down based off of some encouraging news about states easing some lockdown measures. Let's explore! That's right. Silver futures have fallen after Tuesday's more than 2% climb, and gold ends over 1% lower. And we're going to take a look at those prices here in a moment, but let's take a look at this article here from Market Watch that details some of this. And gold prices settled with more than 1% loss on Wednesday as the U.S. dollar strengthened and the reopening of some economies around the world reduced the need for safe haven bullion. Are they triggering a little? Are they pulling the trigger a little bit too quickly on abandoning the safe haven asset? I think so. But the article goes on and says the gold prices just can't shake off reopening momentum, said Edward Moya, senior market analyst at Oando. Some U.S. states are easing measures that were put in place to stem the spread of the coronavirus pandemic. Despite expectations that COVID-19 deaths could rise to 3,000 a day next month, investors are staying optimistic as new cases are not spiking, said Moya in a market update. However, the thing is, leave it to the media to take an internal report that was never meant for publication and was never intended to predict where the prices are, where the death tolls could be. This was done as a preparedness tool internally and was not meant to be a part of the official record. It has been debunked essentially or been put aside by the administration. But nonetheless, it's news like that does cause some concern because the media blows things out of proportion. The virus, however, will take longer to spread deep into rural corners of the country, he said. Against that backdrop, gold prices may continue to consolidate until either cases spike in the rest of the country or the scattered economic rebound disappoints. Moya said gold should see strong support come from the $1,650 level in the short term and should still target $1,800 over the next couple of months. So Moya's bullish on gold in the next several months, and I am too. June gold fell $22 and 1.3% to settle at $1,688.50. We'll take a look at the real-time numbers here momentarily after an edge down 0.2% on Tuesday. The U.S. dollar was up 0.3% against the major currencies as gold futures settled and headed up its loftiest level in more than a week, above 100, as gauged by the popular ICE U.S. dollar index. So it's up 0.47%, almost a half a percentage point. And that is really, in my view, that is just not a number that we can really gauge because of all the quantitative easing. But as mentioned, a lot of those dollars really haven't moved into the economy that have been essentially injected. But they will, and it will come back to bite us at one point or another. And really, we've not really seen the consequences of QE3, and well, from 1 through 3 yet. And so one of these days it's going to come back to bite us. I just don't know when. And the only way that it won't is if there is some sort of reset. And I think that is the thing that's likely to come before it does come back to bite us. Gains for the currency and a relatively steady climb in equity markets amid the COVID-19 pandemic has kept gold in a trading range around $1,700 an ounce. Assets traded in dollars like gold often move inversely with the currency, as a stronger buck can make asset priced in a monetary unit more expensive to buyers using other currencies. Investors overall are showing cautious tendencies towards global markets, and the same can be said for gold here, according to Jamal Ahmed FXTM. And so it is interesting to see that gold continues as it narrow ranges for that, considering its next trigger in volatility. There is still hope for gold prices to push beyond 7-year highs that it has already met this year, and many look to the economic challenges that will remain long after the coronavirus pandemic is over with, and as an opportunity for additional gold demand, he told MarketWatch. Gold fell further even as investors digested a private sector employment report from payment processor automatic data processing Wednesday, showing 20.2 million jobs were lost in April. As many businesses were forced to shutter in much of the U.S. to slow the spread of the virus, according to ADP. Meanwhile, July silver fell 9.5 cents to $15.01 an ounce after it rose 2.1% on Tuesday. Of course, the next thing you have to wonder is if gold and silver are starting to decrease now with the opening up of some of these states as the states continue to open up into the latter stages of phase 1 and phase 2, and then move into phase 3. Does that mean that gold and silver are gonna drop even further? My guess is probably not, because the economic impact, we're only just now beginning to see what that is. Businesses reopening will have a hard time, I believe, although I like to be as optimistic as possible, and I think any movement, and this is why the metals are moving the way they are and why the stock market is up a little bit, is because people want things to be better. So any improvement, but we have to digest the real effects of this, which are going to be felt for quite some time. Even the most optimistic in the administration and economists out there say that really it won't be until much further down to the end of the year before we see prices, or before we see a real economic recovery, and it was only be until 2021 where we see things going back to a normal economic situation, though I don't think life will ever be the same again after this, at least in some aspects. It won't be the same again. And then we have the numbers for copper, palladium, and the like. Let's see what those numbers are for all the metals here. All of them are down. They're in the red. So gold did, yes, lost 1.23%. A pretty significant drop considering where things have been lately, with gold being so bullish, well under that $1,700 level. Silver fell marginally, but is now below the $15 level, and platinum is down $12. Pretty big hit on platinum, down 1.5 points there. Palladium was down $8, and rhodium took a pretty big hit, $200 drop there, with a 5.41% drop. And rhodium is interesting because it's still still very high, but it is a lot less than its highs that we saw over $12,000. Yay, though, the spread continues to be the biggest I've ever seen, a $3,000 spread between bid and ask. It just goes to show you that the metal is very volatile, for sure. And I don't even know where you can buy it anymore. I'm lucky I've got my 1 ounce, for sure, but at these prices, I don't even know if you can buy it. But my guess is you probably could find someplace selling it, but anyways, it's a fringe precious metal. It's a speculative play, as is rhodium, or as is palladium, and as is platinum. Gold and silver are really the foundation of the metals, and gold is the ultimate safe haven that will protect us from economic instability. Silver is too, but boy, I tell you what, it is lackluster at this point, and who knows, it still will take a while for us to, I think, realize any kind of movement and any kind of significant price increases for silver. But it is noted that I'm starting to see from some bullion dealer websites out there, some of the premiums are scaling back a bit, which means that we may be starting to see some more supply make their way to bullion dealers out there, and as they can, and as we expected it to be. So for those of you who didn't buy, and I have not bought a whole lot during this time, although I did make a purchase today with a normal premium, believe it or not, above spot, amazingly enough. But that is something that I will discuss in a future video. But premium is starting to drop now on silver and gold. So that's encouraging news out there for those of you. And it goes to show you that sometimes it's good to wait it out. and see where things go. So there you have it. So post your thoughts below. I would like to extend a multitude of gratitude to you all for watching and remind you that I do post videos on a daily basis. So if you don't see a notification pop up on your subscription feed and you're interested in checking out what's going on, all you got to do is hop on over to the Salivate Metal YouTube channel and you will see a new video there for each passing day. So I'd like to encourage you to please rate, share, comment, and subscribe.